Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what, even a little bit, that we're doing today?
Well, it's a day.
It's not Saturday.
And we're running way behind with our podcast.
We are.
Mostly because we've had a lot of things going on in our lives, and that would be your whole saga with Broken Bones, and which again, you can hear the whole story on Patreon for free. You don't even have to be a member. You can go over there and listen to it. But it's been long enough now. Wife broke a couple of bones. Well, yeah, at least almost broke one, and then definitely broke two others in the arm. Yeah. So. And they were on the way to get others fixed. So that's the short version. Yeah. So anyway, needless to say, I've been picking up a little bit of slack that wife can't do. And actually, work has been a little bit crazy for me lately. So the podcast has been it's been hard to get to.
It has.
Yeah. And we haven't even done one single wrap-up episode for Hosea yet.
Right.
Because we've only done 5 chapters thus far.
Right.
Which means that today we're getting into
Q&A on any day.
Because, yeah, that's where we're at. And so we're Qing and Aing Hosea 1 through 5.
Yep.
Do you have anything special you wanted to mention before we get into this episode?
It had been so long, I had forgotten everything that happened, so it's all new to me.
Right, I was going to say, this is going to be more of a refresher for me than anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of this happened summary going on, because I was like, what? Yeah,
no, I think I feel the same way, because we've been going over these 5 chapters for about 2.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
So we needed the refresher.
Yep.
Anyway, are you ready to go ahead and get into this? Sorry, there was a motorcycle that just drove by really loud and probably didn't end up on the podcast, but it distracted me. So,
and a squirrel.
Yeah. You ready to get into this?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping into this Q&A, not on Saturday.
Right.
For Hosehead chapters 1 through 5, or Hosea. I saw you trying to interrupt me to correct me, but no. Right. Hosehead is Isaiah, not Isaiah.
No.
Hosehead is Hosea.
Yeah.
And we're doing 1 through 5 Q&A because that's what would have come next if we were doing this like
on during the week.
Yeah. And part of our Q&A will kind of be a little bit of summarizing because neither of us could remember what happened.
I mean, there was the whole bit where Hosea was comparing his wife to the shittiness of Israel. I remember that.
Adulterous whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, chapter 1 was about Hosea's unfaithful wife and her children.
Right.
Who may or may not be hers.
Sure.
And
wait, they have to be hers, don't they?
I mean, his. Sorry. he may or may not be the father of some or all of them.
Okay, all right.
So chapter 1 sets forth the spiritual whoredom of Israel.
The spiritual whoredom. I love it.
Via symbolic acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the original text of all of these chapters, not just chapter 1, was written in Hebrew.
Okay.
Okay, just FYI.
Yep.
In Hebrew Bibles, the last verses of chapter 1, chapters 10 and 11, I don't know if you recall, they appear in chapter 2.
Wait, not chapters 10 and 11, verses 10 and 11.
I swear that's what I said.
You didn't.
Well, it's what I meant. So, yeah, those last 2 verses, they're actually in the next chapter.
Got it. Okay.
Fragments containing this chapter and the rest of the chapters in Hosea were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Sure. I mean, it's one of the older prophet books, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense that it would be in there because it's something that had been around for a while. So,
yes, it had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hosea translates to a few different things. It can mean salvation, deliverance, savior, or deliverer, which those are all kind of interchangeable. So basically, his name means thesaurus.
Now that's interesting because my understanding was that the general school of thought is that Hosea was probably an actual person that existed. But it doesn't exactly read that way.
No.
It reads as though this is a metaphor for, using this prophet to describe a fictional marriage that is something that to compare to how God feels about the Israelites, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, and maybe you can answer this question. The information that you got with regard to Hosea being a real person, was that from apologists or was that from scholars?
I'd have to double check.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right.
Sure.
I would be curious about that because...
All right. I'll look into that and get back to you.
To me, the story, it doesn't lend to the credibility that he is a real person.
And the fact that what his name translates to
that doesn't help. And that's why I brought that up, because that doesn't help either.
Let me just read the next one and that will...
Sure.
Even further cloudy.
Okay.
Cloud the issue. Adding the prefix Yah or Jah.
Yeah.
Like in Yahweh. The name becomes Joshua.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
And the original name or the original form of the name is closely related to Hosanna, which means save now.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, the symbolism in the name and the story and everything, it doesn't really give a lot of credibility to this was an actual real person.
Yeah.
Right. And the age of this prophet story is also a bit questionable with regard to how they ended up inserting this into the Bible as well. Right. Because it feels like it should have, if it's that old, right, it should have fit more into like the earlier texts at some level. Like it should have been in there somewhere with regard to how the Bible transpired over time. But there's not really a timeline here. It's just a story. Right. It's not built into the King's Chronicles, or it's not built into the Moses Exodus timeline. It's not built into any of those things that had a timeline. It's just stories that exist from that time. Right. Which also does not lend a lot of credence to that. I'm just in my mind, right? And I'm not basing this on any actual knowledge that I have of Hosea or not, but the information that I've been given to me doesn't lend to this being a credible, real entity that existed. Right. That's all.
Right. Verse 1 is kind of a thing on its own. Okay. It's not related really to the rest of chapter 1. Okay. Because it is like a introduction kind of thing.
Got it.
Like it's referred to as a title.
Right.
He was contemporary with the prophets Isaiah, Amos, and Micah. And during his lifetime, the city of Rome was beginning to be built.
Okay.
Which I love hearing about what else was happening in different parts of the world at the same time. It helps put it in context for me. Yeah. Hosea's ministry spanned the years 760 to 740 BCE during the days of the divided monarchy. So yeah, this is way before.
Got it. Okay.
This was after the days of David and Solomon, when the people of God divided in a civil war. And that created the two nations of Israel in the north and Judah in the south.
But again, that strikes me as to how this didn't end up in a timeline, right?
Yeah.
This is an important enough prophet that he ends up in the Bible, but not important enough that he ends up in anybody's timeline during that time.
That's why these are all that way. They're all referred to as the minor prophets.
Okay. All right.
And that's why.
No, I got it. I just, again, it's odd to me.
Right. This whole thing is some 250 years after the time of King David and some 650 years after Israel came into the promised land.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
So then we move into the next few verses, and we talk about his family, Hosea's family.
Yeah.
Okay. The prophet begins his book by outlining his experiences with his unfaithful wife, Gomer.
Right.
And he's commanded to take a prostitute as his wife. But there were some notes that said that she was probably not a prostitute when Hosea was told to marry her.
Okay.
And in recording this story, it's more likely that Hosea was looking back over the events that happened, recalling the woman whom he married and who bore him children, how she became a prostitute.
Oh.
But
okay.
I don't know about that because, well, I'll let you know.
It's kind of funny because we were talking about how this just sounds like he's blasting his wife,
right,
in his writings.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's wrong.
Right.
Clearly, I'm not a historian, but something else happens later that makes me think maybe she already was and you just wish she wasn't. I don't know.
Right.
Under the figure of a wife proving false to her marriage vows and bearing children that would follow her example, the prophet is representing the shameful idolatry of the 10 tribes which provoked God to cast them off.
Sure,
so that's his whole stick.
Yeah.
Whatever. In the next few verses, we talk about Hosea's marriage to Gomer and their first son.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she had 3 kids, and they were all given names with symbolic meaning.
Sure.
Okay. So, verse 3 says, "So he married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son." Okay. So, the fact that the name Gomer and Diblaim and also the sons, that they don't have any apparent, or I'm sorry, not the sons, just Diblaim, the father of Gomer. Okay,
sure.
Those two.
Yeah.
Their names don't have any apparent symbolic significance. And so that supposedly gives us support that the people mentioned in the book really may have existed in history.
Sure.
Because their names are just like, this is their name. Like, there's no...
Yeah, well, and I kind of looked it up a little bit too. I think you even mentioned this while we were reading through, but Hosea is mentioned, I guess, in the Book of Chronicles. So, like, there are some cross references and things that it is generally accepted that he is considered a actual probable person that existed, and there's not a lot of compelling counter arguments to that.
Right.
I guess just the story itself to me seems a little bit too just involved in the whole proving God aspect of the story. Just seems too involved with that, and the fact that it involves his wife and the names of his kids and the whole 9 yards, like that is it's just a bit too far for me,
right? Right.
But and maybe this was just him being a little bit, adding a little bit of flair to his story.
Right.
Maybe this wasn't a true story. Maybe this was still his writings, but he was trying to make it, something that he could relate to other people on.
Sure.
So I don't know. Who knows?
I think that whether he existed or not, his story is stupid.
Yeah.
So
right.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The Jezreel is the only one, like the first son. He's the only one that is explicitly stated as being Hosea's child.
Okay.
Because that's why I read the verse. He married Gomer and she conceived and bore him a son. Okay. It's not phrased that way with the other two.
Got it.
And then she had a kid. And then she had another kid.
Right.
Is the way the other ones are.
Yeah.
So they may not have been his.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at. As to the question of was she a prostitute before or after they got married? Got it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got it.
So, his name, Jezreel, is based on the city of Jezreel, where Jehu killed all living members of Omri's dynasty. And that was mentioned in 2 Kings chapters 9 and 10. And this would have been about 842 BCE.
Okay.
So we read about it, but it was just so long ago.
Yeah.
So the name of the first child was intended to put Israel in mind of their unrepented guilt and the acts of cruelty that were committed in their palace of Jezreel. And Jezreel actually means scattered.
Okay.
And Israel would soon be scattered in exile by a conquering Assyrian army.
Sure.
And it also refers to the Valley of Jezreel, which that is where Jehu, the founder of the dynasty that put Jeroboam on the throne, that's where Jehu massacred all the descendants of Ahab, thus establishing his throne. And again, that was in 2 Kings chapter 10.
Okay. All right.
So God had directed Hosea to name his son Jezreel to confirm his promise to avenge the bloodshed of Jezreel by judging the house of Jehu. So they're trying to tie together those two events.
Got it.
Through time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's why the kid was named Jezreel. It was fulfilling the promise or whatever from early on.
Again, this sounds too
Put together.
Put together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not big on prophecies to begin with.
Yeah.
So it feels, and since it wasn't, if he wasn't mentioned in Kings, but he was mentioned in Chronicles, I mean, you kind of remember how that all broke down, right? Like there was one, Chronicles was a bit more, I don't know.
I thought one was about one nation and one was the other, between Judah and Israel.
I don't recall it quite that way, but I mean, I thought it was kind of a recounting, but it was just a little bit more heavily centered around, like one was more David centric. Like that was like one was more of a history. The other one was more David centric. Right?
Okay. By that.
So by that account, you know, maybe this person that mentions Hosea in Chronicles was trying to fulfill some of these prophecies. Like maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, there's not evidence against this. I'm not trying to say that this is the case, but there's no evidence exactly for it other than just like best guesses.
Right.
At least not from what I could see. It's just, he's mentioned here, he's mentioned there. They use the actual names. But again, if you're trying to make something sound legitimate, that would be something you would try to do.
That's true.
You know?
That is true.
But okay.
So this prophecy, though, naming him Jezreel, was basically saying, or I'm sorry, the prophecy going back, talking about during the time of Jehu.
Yeah.
Okay. That dynasty, the dynasty of Jehu, and that prophecy was saying that when the dynasty came to an end, which it would be soon, that is what's happening. You know, they're like, this is your dynasty's coming to an end, and this is coming to an end.
Sure.
After the death of Jeroboam in 752 BCE, his son Zechariah barely reigned only 6 months before being assassinated. And that was in 2 Kings chapter 15.
Okay.
And then that was the end of the house of Jehu.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we move on to the next few verses, 6 and 7, and a daughter is born to Gomer.
Okay. Yeah.
And the name of the second child means not pitied or no mercy, which means that the people that wrote the Karate Kid should have named the kid the daughter's
Kid?
name. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That would have had more symbolism. That would have been better.
Got it.
They missed an opportunity.
Okay.
And the reason I said Karate Kid was because, no mercy.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Yeah, no, I was having a really hard time following what you were getting at there.
I'm not all together, but yeah, the second child means no mercy. And that's the whole line in Karate Kid. But I forgot to say that. That's why I was mentioning
Cobra Khan or whatever the fucking is that right? Did I say that right?
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a show now called Cobra Kai.
Yeah, there is.
And it's about those two grown-ups.
But again, pulling out those 80s references,
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Relevant shit there.
Sorry. OMG. Okay, so the name of the second child foretold that God would no longer have pity on the northern kingdom, but will allow it to suffer the full penalty of its sins.
Okay.
And it signifies the people of Israel not finding mercy, and in consequence of their guilt, God's rejection. Womp womp.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's pretty much a standard, though.
Right.
God rejecting his people.
Yeah.
That's nothing new.
You're not good enough.
That's just like standard practice for him. That's part of the whole process.
Exactly.
You got to get rejected before you can get saved, and if you get saved, you've been rejected. So
right. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Every call to this child that's named No Mercy.
Yeah.
Hey, No Mercy, get your ass over here. Every call out to the child No Mercy would remind Hosea and everyone else of their impending judgment and exile. So every time you're yelling this kid's name, not only are you saying, hey, suckball, get over here, you piece of shit. Like, actually, and it's like, and all the rest of you are shitty too.
Right.
Like, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yep.
The army of Assyria that destroyed Israel also attacked Judah, but it did not conquer them. Instead, God miraculously fought on behalf of Judah against Assyria when the angel of the Lord killed 185,000 soldiers in the camp of Assyria in one night. Yeah, that was in 2 Kings chapter 19.
That was insane.
And we were like, surely that would be recorded in history somewhere.
Yeah, that's a lot of dead people in one night.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is something else.
Yeah.
You angel of death.
Yep.
I feel like those two words just don't even go together. Like,
right.
Angel of death. How about demon of death?
Or spirit of death or something.
Right. But angel, it just, I don't know
but that's because of your idea of what an angel is, right? I mean, like most people's generic version of what an angel is this friendly,
right,
help do-gooder, entity that helps humanity out, right?
Yeah.
But like in a lot of our reading that we've come across in the Old Testament, angels, they're not always great. They're kind of they're pretty bad, actually.
I mean, let's be fair. They have a reason to. They were like the only things that existed. And then God made these other piece of shit little monkey people.
Right.
And then was like, here, these are my favorites. And the angels were like, what about me? And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. And they're also better than you. And you have to, find them superior to you.
Sure.
And so the angels are like, wait, what?
But I'm going to be honest. If I ran across an Old Testament angel, I'd be pretty scared, actually.
Right.
They don't seem normally real friendly.
No, they're not.
So
they're not. And that's why the angels were like, I feel like they had good reason to be mad.
Yeah.
And shitty.
Yeah.
They're like,
I guess.
This is trash. We didn't ask for people. What the fuck? And I mean, to know that, like, angels are awesome or whatever, supposedly, they're powerful, they're strong, like, they have all this magic power shit in the Bible, right?
Right, yeah.
According to what we've read, they're awesome, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying they are.
No, I got you.
Good.
You're saying they've got a lot of power.
Yeah. But they have to. They're expected to treat humans who suck
as superior. Right.
Like, I don't blame them for being a little shitty.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I get the mood, but the action was way off.
Yeah.
Like, just because I have a kid who is a little shit doesn't mean I all of a sudden be like, I'm going to kill him. Like, whoa.
Right.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So Judah and her kings had been more faithful to God's ways during those years, as exemplified by King Hezekiah in 2 Kings chapter 18.
Okay. Sure.
So then they have a second son.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the third child was Not My People.
Wait. They have a second son. Oh, second. Yeah. Second son.
It's the third child, but the second son.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep. And his name is, I don't want you. You're not mine. It's Not My People. So by the time the third child was born, God no longer recognized Israel as his people.
Okay.
So every time somebody would call out to, not mine, not my kid.
Yeah.
That would be a reminder to everyone around that the people of Israel had pushed God away and should no longer be considered as people.
Right.
Womp, womp.
Yeah.
Remember, I think we've said this before, we knew a family who the mom had an affair.
Yeah.
And got pregnant by that affair. And I don't know what happened in their marriage, but they stayed married. And she had another daughter later on. Anyway, she had 2 kids, but the first one was with her extramarital affair person.
Mm-hmm.
And that child's name, they named Cain.
Yeah.
That is mean, right?
That was kind of fucked up.
I'm just like, that is so mean.
Right.
That kid has to grow up with that. And why did you do that?
Yeah. No, that's shitty.
I don't get that.
Yep. I agree.
Like, it ain't the kid's fault.
Right.
But they were very Christian.
Yeah.
And that tracks. Yep. You have to hate children.
Sure. For
right?
your fuck up? Sure.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yep. So the nation and then later Judah as well would be cut off from God and taken into captivity.
Right.
So since Gomer had not yet given up her prostitution, there is a cruel irony in the name that this child was probably fathered by another man. So it was not mine on a small scale.
Right.
Local, one-on-one.
Yep.
Like, Hosea's like, this is not my kid. And that is representative of the larger picture where Israel is no longer God's.
But this is some of the reason that I don't really truck with this story.
Yeah.
Is because I don't feel like this is the way this would have gone down.
I mean, I just told you that a dude really did name his kid Cain, so I fully believe that some asshole back then might have named their kid something cruel.
I guess.
It tracks.
No, sure. Okay.
All right, so then we move into the last 2 verses of this chapter, and those are the ones that actually belong in chapter 2, if it was cut properly.
Got it.
Okay, so there's a promise of restoration, and these 2 verses actually go through chapter 2, verse 1, and the reverse negative meanings of the children's names, and then how those can be applied to Israel as well.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
And despite these judgments, God will have pity eventually on Israel and Judah. Okay?
Sure.
God promises to repair the loss of his church by calling in the Gentiles and by uniting all the children of God under one head, the Messiah, in the latter days.
But we're talking about, this is back in the 800, 700 BC, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long fucking time ago, right?
Yeah.
And so many other things transpired between then and even when Jesus came, hypothetically.
Right.
That this doesn't make any sense, right? Like, he fixed things, but then he broke them again.
Right.
Right? And it wasn't because but then he fixed things again and then broke them. Things happened multiple times since this, and they didn't involve a Messiah. And especially depending on what religion you're talking about, in Judaism, there still hasn't been a Messiah. And so if we're talking about that, that is just not something that has ever happened yet.
Open-ended.
And Christianity, it took, 700, 800 years from then.
Right.
So this, and none of it lines up correctly with regard to how this should have happened, because the Babylonian exile happened after this, and that's even after the Assyrians took over. So, I mean... the Syrians, I guess, didn't take over, but they did attack. So I guess we could push it out to mean the Babylonian exile, but whatever.
What I find interesting is that we stopped at some point with the religious texts. Like, there's no more religious texts.
Right, yeah.
Why aren't there still...
Yeah, why did it all happen back then?
Like, why aren't there still prophets from, I don't know, the 500s and the 1000s.
Yeah, I mean, humans have existed. I mean, even if you just take into account creationists' version, right? Mm-hmm. We've existed for 6,000 years, and according to them, and we only wrote during 1,000 of those years, which leaves 5,000 years that we didn't write shit about anything.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
that's allowing. That's allowing for creationists.
Yeah. Yeah. So God's going to promise to repair the loss to his church by calling in the Gentiles and uniting all the children, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they will once more become his people. Isn't that pretty?
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah, they're going to rejoice again.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they'll be brought back to their homeland and united as one. Yay!
That's very happy. Yeah.
So then in chapter 2, we talk about Israel's sin. Okay. The oracle of salvation, the reversal of judgment, and all that happens. And so everything kind of gets, the names are good now instead of bad.
Yeah.
Right? So in this verse, he calls on them to acknowledge that mercy and to then excite one another. Be happy, people, says God.
Right.
Celebrate, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So Hosea's sons are at this point in chapter 2 where we pick up the story. They're all grown up now.
Okay. Yeah.
And Hosea asked them to plead with their mother to return to him. Like, come home, Gomer, come home.
Yeah.
But that
wasn't that
happen.
at the behest of God asking him to do that too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So then verse 4 says, I will not show my love to her children because they are the children of adultery. And so that happened.
Yeah.
The meaning is not necessarily that the children were to be disinherited through the accident of birth, but because they proved to be the very image of their idolatrous mother. The children have failed to join Hosea in the trial, and they do not confront or abandon her, as apparently they are in one heart and soul with their mother. Makes sense.
Sure.
I love my mom.
Yeah.
Mom, please stop being a prostitute and come home. Daddy says we're not his. Like, what? So their status, the sons, becomes that of offspring born to a harlot.
Got it.
So
because they wouldn't just accept.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily that they weren't his, but he's like, if you side with her, then, I'm not calling you my son anymore.
Again, it's how God wants the Israelites to treat him, right?
Exactly.
You have to only worship God. You have to accept and fully love and obey God's laws. And if you don't, you're fucked.
Yes.
So.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the children, the Israelites in this case, being led by their parents, quickly fell into the gross errors and pollutions of paganism. And for this reason, they were called children of whoredom.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Gross. Israel's adultery was to follow Baal instead of Yahweh. So they cheated on God,
Which was, I think, a Canaanite god, which was their fucking neighbors. Yeah. And, I don't know. There's a lot of influence from other cultures in this time because there's so many cultures around them,
Yeah.
And I can't really blame them for being influenced by other cultures,
Yeah, me neither.
Especially when these cultures were usually bigger entities than they were.
And stronger.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Right.
The people believed that Baal was the god of nature and that he would give them happiness. And just as a husband could strip his unfaithful wife and send her away naked, so God will, by drought and conquest, strip Israel's land, leaving it barren, fruitless. Okay?
Yeah.
Then we go on and talk about how God will draw Israel back. So God creates other hindrances designed to stop Israel from going after Baal and to help her return to him. But she persists in pursuing Baal. Womp womp.
Yeah,
that tracks.
It's not. I don't think that is that they persisted in pursuing Baal, right? They persisted in worshiping whatever god seemed to fit their needs at that given time, right?
That's true.
If you're looking to fix something that's happening in the nature, you would look for your nature god to do that, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking to fix something that like if you want to stop a disaster and, there's this God, Yahweh, who always causes disasters, you're going to worship Yahweh that day because you're like, hey, dude, don't fuck us up today, man, please.
Right.
I feel like it was just a matter of which God seems most relevant today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because
there's so many gods at that time.
Well, we've said that before, that they're just trying to find out which one is going to help their grass grow.
Right. Yeah.
So
you can't blame him for that, I don't think.
So God's like, I'm going to make you be naked or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And after these corrections, God promises to conduct Israel safely to their own land, perhaps alluding to their restoration from the Babylonian captivity. For this prophecy is supposed to have been delivered about 250 years prior to that event.
But we talk a lot about the Assyrians, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this book.
This part.
And much like when we were talking about Jeremiah and Isaiah and how they had quote unquote prophecies, it's not hard to read the writing on the wall, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like they were like, hey, these Assyrians, they're right there doing these things. And if I had to guess, they're talking about a probable Assyrian invasion, right? It just didn't fully occur. Something happened that stopped it, that whatever. Yeah, God apparently killed 185,000, but we all know that that's bullshit. So something happened. They held up their end, and they held off the Assyrians. And so now we can take this and say, yeah, they meant the Babylonian exile, right?
Yeah.
Which, sure. I mean, whatever. You can always apply it to something. You can take any idea and say, oh, this was meant to be that, right? And if when you equate it and try to make things match, you can make it work. And it's still bullshit, though. But, okay.
So, verse 15 of chapter 2 says, there I will give her back her vineyards and will make the valley of Achor a door of hope. So, we had questions about this verse in particular. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Achor means trouble. So, the valley of Achor is literally the valley of trouble right here in River City.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a place of trouble where Achan's sin was discovered and judged way back in Joshua chapter 7. Okay. So just to remind you what happened there, Achan was the doofus in Joshua chapter 7 who looted silver, gold, and shekels.
Yep.
When Israel had been instructed to either destroy everything or give it back to God.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then that disobedience pissed God off. So when they attempted to conquer the city of Ai, they were defeated, and 36 of their men were killed. 36.
Okay.
Which is funny how the numbers have changed, because now that's like just 36.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about God took out 145, so 185,000.
Right.
So I don't know what you're trying to say 36 is.
Yeah.
So Joshua was like, WTF. So God told him about the thievery and then called up the clans one by one. And then the tribes, and then the families. And then when Achan was chosen, he admitted what he had done. And the Israelites stoned him and his family and burned their belongings as a punishment for his disobedience and as a way to turn away God's anger. And of course, this murdery bullshit appeased God.
I would be really fucking pissed if I was his family. Like, what did we do?
Well, you'd only be pissed for the 6 seconds before
right,
God
no, I know.
smote your ass.
So it's crap. It's crap.
It is. Like, why do the women and children have to suffer?
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Unless, what, are you saying that they were part of it? Make that part of the story then.
Right.
Because it looked like he just
guilt by association, right?
Yeah. Fuck you, God. Sorry.
And not even like close. Like, it's not like they were part of the heist. They just were related to him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So going back into Hosea chapter 2, verse 15, God's restoration will involve transforming the quote unquote valley of trouble into a door of hope after Israel acknowledges her wrong.
Got it.
Okay. So I want to read verses 16 and 17.
Okay.
In that day, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband. You will no longer call me my master. I will remove the names of the Baals from her lips. No longer will their names be invoked.
Okay.
So God was not satisfied with a fear-based... Oh, okay, this is going to make you laugh. Okay? It really is. God was not satisfied with a fear-based, obedience-focused relationship with his people where they thought of him primarily as master. He wanted a relationship where they thought of him primarily as husband. In Hebrew, the name Baal comes from the word master, and the two words sound alike. So, there's Baal and Baal.
So they're trying to distinguish the type of God that God, Yahweh, is, basically?
Yeah. It was the Baals, the idols of the nations, which wanted this master-slave relationship with men.
Sure.
But the Lord God, Yahweh, he wanted a love-based, commitment-based relationship with his people.
Yeah, and when he can't have it, he's going to kill you.
Right.
I mean...
that is not love, though. That is... He's still their fucking master.
Yeah, I don't think they quite grasp the concept there.
No, it's... Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just bad.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
So then in verse 22, it says, and the earth will respond to the grain, the new wine, and the olive oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. So, as I said, the name Jezreel means scattered.
Yeah.
And it had been used previously in a negative sense, but it was also the word used to describe the good scattering of seed, meaning sowing, like you sow the seeds.
Right.
So God would restore his people to abundance and blessing. And in that case, scattering would become sowing.
Got it.
Sowing the seeds.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the restoration of Gomer in chapter 3.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
By the prophet taking back his wife, for whom he still retained his affection, though she had proven unfaithful. By doing this and by entering into a new contract with her, remember he went to go get her and he bought her back, and he's like, and then by giving her hopes of reconciliation, that she would need to have some time off from him, like no sex for you, but also no sex for me.
Right.
Like in a state of widowhood.
Sure.
By doing all of that, God is representing the gracious manner, this God of love, in which he will restore the Jews from the Babylonian captivity.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So verse 1 says, the Lord said to me, go show your love to your wife again, though she is loved by another man and is an adulteress. Love her as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turn to other gods and love the sacred raisin cakes. We're like,
yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we're like, raisin cakes.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that in just a sec.
Okay.
Gomer, who had apparently left Hosea, remember?
Yeah.
Was at that time living in adultery with another man.
Oh.
So unlike in Hosea chapter 1, verse 2, where it says, take a wife, here Hosea is being told to love the wife.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that he needs to renew his conjugal kindness to her.
Oh.
Go fuck your wife. Bring her home to fuck her.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's talk about raisin cakes.
Yeah.
Raisin cakes, and in the King James version, this says flagons of wine.
Okay.
And in other translations, it might say cakes of grape or dried raisins.
Okay.
So all of those things were used in idolatry. That was mentioned in Jeremiah chapters 7 and 44.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So verse 2 says, so I bought her for 15 shekels of silver and about a homer and a lethek of barley.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So 15 shekels of silver was half the price of a slave, as described in Exodus chapter 21.
Mm-hmm.
And it may also allude to the dowry for a bride.
Okay. Yeah.
As Price mentioned in 1 Samuel chapter 18.
Right.
A shekel was about 0.4 ounces or 11 grams.
Okay.
And a homer of barley was about 6 bushels or 200 liters. So now you know.
Yeah.
Gomer first had to undergo a period of discipline. Like, remember when he's like, no sex for you?
Yeah.
She had to live with Hosea as a slave, not as his wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Hosea stipulates that Gomer should wait this long period before she can be restored to her quote unquote conjugal rights, sex.
Right.
And he's likewise going to do that. That is because in Deuteronomy chapter 21, the law for taking a beautiful captive woman, remember, like if you steal somebody else's,
right,
stipulates that she has to mourn for her family for a full month before she can be married to the guy that kidnapped her.
That's interesting because we're comparing it to, we're comparing this marriage and this relationship to the Israelites' relationship with God. So God is, by this story, maybe allowing for a time of mourning for their previous God.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Which is weird to me.
Yeah. So, that is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's not in the nicest of terms, right? You're a slave now. I don't know. But whatever. It's still,
right.
If we're taking that at face value, he's allowing for a time of mourning.
You have 30 days to get rid of this shit.
Right.
I don't want to see it anymore. You're not leaving your room.
Right.
Yeah. Like, are you talking to your child or your wife? I don't know. But
right. Well, I think those things would be interchangeable back then.
Sure. So, Israel likewise must have a period of discipline. No sex.
Yeah.
She has to live in captivity in a foreign land where she will be without her own civil government and will be separated from all objects connected with former religions, practices, whatever, good or bad.
That didn't really happen, though, even with Babylonian
Right.
exile, right?
Right.
They were actually exposed to a lot of new gods in Babylon.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen.
Well, the fact that they had to live in captivity with these other gods that they were supposed to turn down, that's why there wasn't a lot of Yahweh there.
Got it. Yeah.
Because Yahweh was on purpose staying away.
I see.
It's not that he wasn't invited to prom in the first place.
Right.
All right. So in chapter 4, Hosea now turns from his personal experiences to the conditions in Israel. Okay. There appears to be a little chronological order or logical development.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember
Kind of.
me saying that chapter 4 and 5 kind of is like something else. It consists of collections of numerous short messages that Hosea apparently delivered on various occasions over a number of years.
Right.
And in this chapter, he reproves the people and priests for their sins following Jeroboam's death.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no mention of the king or his family in these.
Okay. All right.
And bloodshed and other evils usual in a civil war are specified in these few chapters.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the prophet changes his mind wow, I really fucked that up. The prophet charges his people with their enormous sins, in consequence of which they are threatened with heavy judgments.
Right.
Okay. So as we move on, the corrupt and ineffective leadership of the priests is what's put to blame. Like you're leading the people astray.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the adultery of idolatry. Do you know how hard that was to say? Just so you know. And basically he's like, you guys are whores because you looked at this other religious stuff instead of me and my golden ball sack.
Right.
If we move on to verse 15, it says, though you, Israel, commit adultery, do not let Judah become guilty. Do not go to Gilgal. Do not go up to Beth-aven. Okay.
Which I'm assuming are places where there's worship of other gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the cities of Gilgal and Beth-aven were centers of idolatry in Israel. For a citizen of Judah to travel there meant they shared in Isaiah's idolatry.
In Isaiah's idolatry?
I'm sorry, in Israel's. Isaiah, Israel, whatever.
Got it.
You know, one's a person, one's a nation, whatever.
Yeah.
At one time, Gilgal was a place where prophets were trained under Elijah and Elijah. And that's it from 2 Kings.
Yeah.
But in Hosea's day, it had become a center of false worship. So that city had really done a flip-flop.
I'm assuming these were in the northern Israeli kingdom. Is that possible?
I think so.
Okay.
Wherever Elijah and Elijah were.
Got it. I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm assuming, though, since we're talking about Israel and we're talking about idolatry and the centers of those things.
Israel was the northern kingdom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were the ones that were absorbed or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
And more than that, they had previously, before being conquered by Assyria, or whatever had happened to them exactly, they had been described as worshiping different gods.
Right.
Right? Their idea of what Yahweh was different before they even got conquered. So
yeah.
Everything was different with those northern tribes at some point.
I forgot about that. But yeah, you're right. So there was actually no city named Beth-aven. Hosea twisted the name of the city of Bethel, meaning house of God, into the more fitting name Beth-aven, meaning house of deceit.
Ah, okay.
I really like that, just so you know.
Yeah.
Bethel was the southern center of calf worship established by Jeroboam.
Got it. Which would have been the northern kingdoms. So yeah, that makes sense. I believe.
It says it was the southern center of calf worship.
Right, but the calf worship was all done in the northern kingdoms, I think.
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't either.
I'm pretty sure it was done in Israel. I thought Israel was north.
Right, but there was Judah and then there was Israel, right?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right, so moving on to verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Leave him alone. So the tribe of Ephraim was the largest tribe in Israel, and therefore the prophets often referred to Israel as Ephraim. It would be similar to how you call the state by the city.
Right.
or the capital city or whatever. The idolatry, greed, and immorality of Israel is going to be the cause of its destruction, is what this is all getting to.
Just real quick, Jeroboam was the king of the northern Israel.
Okay.
And then, so not Judah. So that makes
sense.
Yeah.
All right. That all follows.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to chapter 5. In verse 1, it goes, "Hear this, you priests. Pay attention, you Israelites. Listen, royal house. This judgment is against you. You have been a snare at Mizpah, a net spread out on Tabor." Do you remember those?
Yes.
Those were the two mountains.
Right.
So they refer to two high mountains in the northern land of Israel, which almost 4 miles high, had on the top of it a plain of around 3 miles.
Oh, wow.
And those are where altars were set up to ensnare and draw people into idolatry. And the reason that the sites were able to do that is because they were honey-lipped mountains.
You did that.
I did
right?
that.
Yeah,
I did that. Yeah.
No, I like that. That's good.
If that had been in Wikipedia or any other place, I would have shit my pants laughing. So Mizpah, situated on the east of Jordan in the mountainous part of Gilead, was the sacred place of the solemn covenant between the patriarch Jacob and Laban. Or Laban.
Right.
And was probably, like Gilgal and other sacred places, desecrated by idolatry.
Sure. But again, this is according to the southern tribes of Judah, who then, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the northern tribes didn't necessarily stop worshiping Yahweh because
they just did so differently.
Did it differently.
Yeah. Because they read the same Bible and cherry-picked an entirely different type of stuff.
Well,
just kidding, the Bible
time,
didn't exist then.
I was going to say, at that time, it was more oral tradition. So, I mean, even with regard to that, think about how things change in society now with regard to where you live and how you're brought up, right?
Well, I was just...
Can you imagine in a time when you hardly traveled outside of your city, how things would be different from one place to the next? You know, like that. Yeah. It doesn't...
But even today, where we have much more ability to be more homogenous, there's still like a huge difference between, like, say, Methodist and Southern Baptist.
Sure.
Like, of course, they say they believe the same God, but their worship is all kinds of different.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, hold on. Sorry. Let's talk about Tabor, the other mountain. So that was Mizpah. This is Tabor.
Sure.
A beautiful mountain in Galilee within the tribe of Zebulun. And it also sat between the tribal territories of Issachar and Zebulun and was 6 miles from Nazareth. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tabor was the scene of God's deliverance of Israel by Barak, as read in Judges chapter 4.
Okay.
And then both of these places are said to be eminent for hunting, and that's why the word snare and net was in that verse.
Yeah.
And I remember
you talked about that during when we were reading them. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So verse 7 says, "When they celebrate their new moon feasts, he will devour their fields." Now that is from our translation, but there's another translation that says, "Now shall a moth devour them." Okay. So we just went from moth and fields. Okay.
I like the idea of a moth devouring them better.
Yeah.
That's definitely weirder.
Yeah.
And I'm all for weird because there's just so much weird already in this. Like, why not just go full, like all in, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So in 2 Kings, there's a verse that says, "In a month's time, the king of Assyria shall be upon them and oblige them to purchase their lives and liberties by a grievous tax of 50 shekels per head." So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Instead of month, some translate the original as locust, such that the locusts shall devour them.
Right. Which we were talking about that, like, could refer to how they referred to the Assyrians or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. Exactly. So verse 8 says, "Sound the trumpet in Gibeah, the horn in Ramah, raise the battle cry in Beth-aven, lead on, Benjamin." So Gibeah and Ramah were cities of Judah in the tribe of Benjamin.
Okay.
And where it says, "After thee, O Benjamin," it's an abrupt call of warning.
Got it. Yeah.
And it's talking to the the tribe of Benjamin, not as the person Benjamin.
Right.
There's another translation that says, Benjamin, fly for thy life. The enemy is just behind thee. And it's a prediction of the invasion of the Assyrians and the captivity of the 10 tribes.
Right.
The people are firmly held by the power of idolatry, and they are unable to return to God. They still offer their animal sacrifices, but God does not accept them because they're just like lip service.
Fake, right?
Yeah. They are not his children. We already read about that.
Sure.
But the children of prostitution, within a short time, God will send another judgment upon them in the form of further devastation of their crops. So that's what's going to be coming.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
And that is pretty much it for chapters 1 through 5, as far as any questions that we had or what we didn't understand was going on.
Yeah, no, I'm glad for the summary. It's been, like I said, 2.5 weeks or whatever since we started this. So it was nice to catch back up on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to getting back into some more chapters of Hosea. Which we should be doing probably soon. I think wife actually is going to the doctor tomorrow to see what we need to do next with regard to her arm. And when she has more function of her arm, we might be doing more podcasts again.
Right. That would be exciting.
It's hindering the research capabilities that she has been doing. So
it really is. And I know it shouldn't be, but see.
Well, sure it should be. You have to, type things. So
yeah. My left hand is so klutzy. I can't do anything with it. It sucks.
Well, I mean, if they go listen to the story, like everything in the last 3 weeks was so klutzy.
Well, yeah, there's that. That's why I haven't left the house since I got this cast on my arm. They literally grounded me from taking the stairs.
Yeah, well, tried to. You still did it a couple of times.
I did. I snuck down and did laundry. Shame.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that was our Q&A for Hosea chapters 1 through 5.
Q&A, not on Saturday. Maybe it'll be again someday.
Right. And I will be getting together a weekly wrap-up together for Hosea chapters 1 through 5 plus the Q&A here. Because that's well overdue just because of time.
Right.
Nothing else. Like normally this is where we would do it anyway. But that will be coming out shortly. And then hopefully, we'll be back, I'm just going to say soon, with Hosea.
Hosehead, chapter 6.
Yes, that's the one.
I wasn't really listening to you, and so then you looked at me expectantly, and I had to replay the entire last, 2 seconds.
Yeah,
what did he say?
Right.
What does he want from me? Yeah, Hosea chapter 6.
All right, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.